Hello everyone, welcome to HW News. Welcome to the 8 p.m. live that we are going live right now, and we are going to discuss about the Congress debacle in the Assembly elections 2022. Out of 5 state Assembly elections, the Congress could not perform on any of the state Assembly elections, and the Congress debacle is very much now visible, and that has started a rumbling inside the Congress. Although this is sort of a usual routine for the Congress party. Whenever it loses election in any state, there is a process. Now, the Congress party has also organized something called as Chintan Shibir, where the party wants to introspect on where it went wrong. However, if we look at the process of Chintan Shibir or introspection, it has been going on for quite some time. Even before, even after the Gujarat Assembly election, there was a Chintan Shibir organized. Even after 2019 Lok Sabha debacle, there was some kind of a Chintan Shibir organized by the Congress party. The CWC meetings happened. But what is the outcome of these meetings? That is a big question here, because election after election, the Congress party seems to go back to square one and discusses who is the leader of the Congress party, who is going to lead the party in next election. Now, this time around, also, G23 we saw last year, G23 leaders came out, these 23 leaders, senior members of the Congress party, came out and said that the leadership of the Gandhis is not fit to lead the Congress anymore, and they want a different leaders, different set of politicians, congressmen to lead the Congress party. But the question here is, as we asked in our show, if not Gandhis, then who? Today, the G23 leaders are meeting, and G23 leaders, including Shashi Tharoor, including Kapil Sibal, including Anand Sharma, Dipender Huda, lots of leaders are now gathering, and they are going to discuss about who possibly they can put up as a next candidate in front of the Gandhis. To discuss this, I am joined by our managing editor, Mr. Sujit Nair. Sujit Nair is with us. Uh, and we are also joined by Matthew Anthony. Matthew is AIPC president. So Matthew is here with us. Thank you so much, Matthew, for joining. I'm very glad that you joined. Uh, so
Thank
let
you,
me just
Aarti.
start with
Thank you. Hi, Sujit.
Hi,
hi.
Matthew. How are you?
Good, I'm good.
Yeah,
Thank you.
great. Acha, can I just ask the? Thanks. The production removed that strip. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
good to see you, Matthew.
good.
Yeah.
good. All right.
Are we live now, or we are going to go
Yeah, we are
live?
live.
Yes,
We are live. We are live.
we are live. We are live.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
So let me just start with the question, Matthew. Uh, as I said, the Congress party goes back to the same script. We see after election there is a kind of a Chintan Shibir or introspection that is done. What different Congress party is going to do this time?
I would rather say that there are two ways to look into this election results, and then I'll come to the Congress party part of it. For a moment, everybody is celebrating the victory of BJP and AAP. Uh, I would like to pose a question to the media as well as to all of the other people who are celebrating from the BJP also. Can they vouch to themselves with all sincerity that these elections were ethically fought and won? Uh, Ultimately, victory is victory. There are no two ways about it. Those who find victory will emerge as the ones who are going to rule the people. But the major challenge with the Congress party leadership, which is facing right now under the leadership of Honorable Congress President Sonia Gandhi, as well as former Congress President Rahul Gandhi, is whether we should uh, give up the ethics or not. We are very clear that we should not give up the battle on the ethical front. We might lose elections, but we don't want to get into a battlefield where we lie to ourselves, where we fabricate things against the opponents. We, from the time of our inception and the time where we made a lot of sacrifices, Congress was mentioned as a tent party where we had people from diverse group of thoughts coming together under one particular umbrella to fight for the country's citizens' freedom. And we have given a lot of sacrifices at that point of time, and we continue to give, and we did a lot of things silently even to remember and recall the Kuwait crisis, when we made a repatriation of a lot of people from the Kuwait war in a even much more risky operation than what we have seen, without any kind of a noise and celebration about it. So that's the style of functioning which the Congress party is used to, from a kind of high decibel marketing and an unethical practices of manipulation, as well as lies and fake stories kind of propagated across. So if you really ask me why the Congress party is suffering, is largely because we have chosen not to fight a battle like that, and that is why we have faced a lot of failures. So for that failure, the leadership is taking a lot of flack, for the simple reason that Rahul Gandhi or Congress President Sonia Gandhi's leadership is not able to make or find victories one after the other. We are losing one after the other. So the primary reason for losing these elections is basically a principal battle, ethical conflict, which we have, and we are very clear not to have that conflict. We will find and we will fight the path of truth till the time the truth will emerge successful at some point of time. Of course, there are challenges within the party in terms of adapting in accordance with the time, in accordance with the changes, in accordance with the electorate, because 50% of our electorate is born after 1992. We need to find ways and means of winning their mind in a way which is consumable to them. So it needs a communication strategy. It needs a communication approach. It needs a two-way approach. It is no longer the one-sided Bhashan approach which will work with the electorate right now. You need a lot of engagement. You need to have a lot of courage and strength to take a lot of criticism without finding the people who are criticizing as an objective opponent, but well-wisher, and take those feedbacks and then include them in your aspirations, include them in your growth pattern, and that's how we will be able to win elections. And more than that, end of the day, if you're a team who is participating in a game, whereas election cannot be compared as a game, but still you need to show that hunger and appetite to win. uh, we at one hand, we will strongly advocate the ethical side of it, but at the same time we should say that if at all we have to execute this ethical administrative service to the people of this country, we need to request the people of this country to elect us to power, to help us bring these changes, because there is nothing which is there in the country which gives such a kind of a support for the ruling party to get this kind of a repeated electoral victory, because inflation is going up, unemployment is going up, you have COVID management crisis, you have petrol fuel price increases, you have cooking gas price increases, you have all negative charts on one side. Just because of the one leadership part, it cannot go down. But there are a lot many other things. The unethical electoral practices is what is something which we need to question. And and I think the media also should introspect a little bit into themselves, because never in the history of India we have seen media supporting a ruling regiment and hitting so hard on the principal opposition party like this, because the media's job is of a permanent opposition all the time. And we see a lot of media kind of coming and supporting the ruling regiment, almost like speaking as their spokespersons to a large part of the time, and putting the Congress party, the principal opposition party, as the one which is in governance. For some time, we feel that we are in governance, and the media is challenging the party in governance. So we need to think in a different way. We need to ask, just like the Congress party has to introspect a lot within ourselves and to execute those changes, rather than doing reports and committees, but to implement those committees' findings, but to bring in more leadership changes, which can be measurable, which can be timely, effective, and things like that. We also need support from the media. We also need support from other stakeholders in the democracy to see that what is in this government, which you find it so attractive to support them. Aren't you feeling the pinch at your end also? is my question to you, when you are kind of posing this question to me. That's all my opening statement from my side. Thank you.
Well, that's right. I think lots of question for the Congress party in our comment boxes. So the comment box is kind of exploding. There are so many comments, and people want to ask you those questions. We will come back to those questions later. But I think Sujit, as Matthew said, I think one point that he said is, and I take it from my perspective. I'm kind of formulating is what he's trying to say is the BJP is presenting one narrative, and the Congress party is not able to counter it on the basis of whatever principles they have. They have the principle of truth, they have principle of fairness and ethics, and on those basis, the Congress party is trying to fight the elections, but somehow they can't match up to the narrative. Also, the fact that what he said is there is no hunger and appetite in the Congress party to win the election.
I didn't say that.
Ar-
I said that we
I
should
am
have
saying that.
more hunger and more appetite. Yeah,
Yes,
thank
right,
you.
right. I'm sorry. Yes, Sujit.
Aarti, Matthew is a very dear friend. So first, let me start to say that he's a great human being and is a good friend. And but I have to beg to differ to him today. I'll tell you what. Uh, Ethics, no party has. No party fights an election with ethics. Okay, every party has some skeletons to hide. Some has more, some has less. But the fact is, all parties, all elections are fought with a little cheat here and a little cheat there, which I think every Indian knows it. So there is nothing new I'm saying. So that's one. The second thing is somewhere down the line, I completely agree to Matthew, which he wanted to say, but I don't think he said it. Obviously, he's a party leader, he cannot. Is that the hunger to win, I think, somewhere is lost in Congress. While the party is there, the infrastructure is fabulous. It's what is unfortunate about Congress. It has got a fantastic base. It has got still people who supports it blindly. But still, somewhere down the line, Congress is not able to mobilize. Now, let me come to point number 3, which is the leadership point, which I think is the core of our discussion, and which he spoke about, which Matthew rightly spoke about. You see, Gandhis are not the leaders of Congress. That's not right. Gandhis are not the leaders of Congress. Gandhis are the scapegoat of Congress. You see, what happens is anywhere anybody loses, anything goes wrong, anybody is corrupt, anybody did anything wrong, who gets the blame? Rahul Gandhi gets the blame. Who gets the blame? Sonia Gandhi gets the blame. Okay, so somewhere down the line, Gandhis have not been, Congress has not been doing well for the last possible 7 years, and Gandhis have been constantly been pulled down, humiliated, trolled, so on and so forth. And every time they lose, they run to Gandhi and say, Gandhi nikalna chahiye. ठीक है. Now let us talk about two people who are talking. There are 23 people who are talking. Let us talk about two people who are talking about Gandhi should go. ठीक है ना? Now, should Gandhi go? I also think Gandhi should go, Baba. I also think. I am not going back on that. I don't think Rahul Gandhi or Sonia Gandhi should stay. They should vacate their seat because somewhere down the line they should take blame. But acha, you throw Gandhis out. Then what happens? Congress wins. Congress will come back to power naturally without anything. Let's talk about two people who talks about power, change. Mr. Shashi Tharoor, fine man, very nice person, very good human being, no doubt about it. But tell me, which constituency did he go? Which assembly constituency did he go and campaign in the last 5 in the election in the 5 states? Can you name one constituency? So that is Shashi Tharoor. ठीक है, चलो, he is from South, he doesn't speak Hindi. चलो, I understand. Let us keep him out. Now let us talk about Kapil Sibal. Kapil Sibal, again, speaks Hindi, no? He's supposed to be from Delhi, right? Which constituency did he go and campaign? Okay, so you are, and you know what Mrs. Sonia Gandhi said, that listen, we were calling leaders to come and campaign. Nobody came. I am not saying this. Mrs. Sonia Gandhi is saying it. Which means that as a leader, you don't want to go and campaign. You don't want to go and campaign. You want to sit there and you want to ensure that if they lose, change Sonia Gandhi. If they win, they will all come with their newly ironed khadar and stand there to get some kind of position. Okay, now I'll give you another example. 2 more minutes I'll take, Matthew, before you can react. You see, in Maharashtra, in 2019 elections, I remember And I went up to some of their senior leaders. Since Matthew is here, I am not going to name them. Otherwise, I would have named them. Okay, I went to some of their senior leaders and I asked, Baba, 2019 election being fought so fiercely, why aren't you campaigning? One of their three senior leader, one senior leader went abroad. He went to I think Turkey or somewhere. Okay, so he was not there. Two other senior leaders not visible. There was one man who came from United States called Sam Petroda, who was going around the state and trying to campaign. Okay, where were the state leaders? The same one of the I'm talking about one of the G23 leaders who I asked, okay, Baba, what are you? Why are you not campaigning? No campaigning. So campaign nahi karenge, but you want a change. You see, Aarti, last point. Narendra Modi did not ask Mr. L.K. Advani, sir, please give me to become the Prime Minister. Please let me be the leader of the party. You know what he did? He literally picked L.K. Advani up and put him on the side and made him a Margadarshan. That's how political leadership is defined. Anywhere in the world, political leadership is defined like that. Other than having this G23 meeting, no, Matthew, my opinion, I would have been thrilled. I would have been thrilled if Shashi Tharoor would have stood in Trivandrum and says, boss, I want to be the Congress president. I want India to back me. This Rahul Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi is doing nothing. He's useless. I want to be the Congress president. Can you guys back me? I think the movement would have started from Trivandrum. Then one would have sat here and said, there is a person who is claiming to be Congress president. Let us try him. Let Sachin pilots sitting there should have said, I want to be the Congress president. Why not? I am a fantastic leader. I am very popular. I want to be the Congress president. I want to start the movement. I will sit in Congress and be the Congress president. Fantastic. Then we should have said, this is what the movement is. Congress does not belong to Gandhis. Congressman also knows it. Congress is a 152-year-old party. Okay, Gandhis came into existence when in almost 1990 to 1936, right? 37. That's when Gandhis even started. When Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's father, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's father, Aarti, I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. Sorry?
Motilal Nehru.
Motilal Nehru, my age, I'm sorry. When he became 1936, that is when Gandhis came. Usse pehle kidhar tha Gandhis? It is a party that belonged to the people of this country. And it is still the party that should be belonging to this people of this country, to the best of my knowledge. So that's the point I wanted to make. The point is, I do not see a leader. Today, Congress is Gandhi. If not Gandhi, then leave Congress and look at TMC or look at AAP, look at another party. Matthew, this is what I would say.
Okay.
Yes, so that's yes.
Aarti, yeah, you're going to say something?
No, that's the question. Because I think there is a kind of a divide in the Congress party right now. There are certain section of people who back the Gandhis. There is a section of people, there is a section of leaders who do not back Gandhis, who say that Gandhi should leave the leadership and somebody else should take over. So what exactly is going on in the Congress party and what is going to prevail eventually?
Okay. First of all, let me thank you and congratulate you because this recalls me of the college time debates, where we don't interrupt to each other and we listen, and where we have rebuttal, we kind of give the rebuttals, rather than making too much of a loud noise. I was prepared, with a little bit of a throat. I don't know, whether we will have to make noise because if there are some other panelists also. But good job, from your side. So Sujit, coming back to the points which you have raised, I'm glad that you mentioned that the Congress party is not owned up by Gandhis, which is what is a correct statement. Because, in fact, despite their family's personal loss, they remain to serve this party for these long years. Recalling the early childhood of both former Congress President Rahul Gandhi as well as his sister Srimati Priyanka Gandhi and their mother Srimati Sonia Gandhi, their entire family has seen a lot of sacrifices which has been, the blood of the family has been given for the country and its people. Uh, when losses are coming, everybody is putting the blame onto them. But I would rather say that no, we should, Congress party should have the courage, and we have demonstrated that the ownership of the losses is taken up by the party and not taken up by the individuals. The Congress president has taken the ownership upon her on the Punjab decision making. Now, let me tell you this, that on the ethical part of it, which you made a statement. Yes, uh, at any point of time, Congress party is not claiming ourselves to be the saint of all the parties existing in this country. But having my interactions with Sri Rahul Gandhi and have seen how decision making is happening, I should tell you this, that there is a complete change in the way in which he looks upon things. Maybe it might have given him electoral failures one after the other, but he, to a large extent, we have to give credits to him, when the other side is blaming him for what the electoral failures are for. We should understand the personality, which is very clear that no, he is not willing to compromise on the ethical front of giving an eye to eye back, or a lie to lie back, or a manipulation to a manipulation. We will fight tooth and nail to bring the truth into existence for the people of this country, because none of us are here for a personal battle here. So I would state my disagreement with all respect, to your statement. Yes, there are some the past histories of the parties might have something, but in the current history, at least we are not in power for the last 7 years in the center, and there is something which is very clear from him, from the former Congress president during his time of presidency and after his time of presidency also. Whenever we have had an interaction, he is very clear. It's undoubtedly clear. There is no two ways about it. That we will not compromise on the ethical front of it. Now, how to convert this ethical battle into a political victory is something which we have not been successful. We admit that. It's not that It's not that. If you compare the ethics with certain decisions of seat allocations, or some administrative decision making adjustments which has happened in the states just before the elections, or that sort, that cannot be mixed with ethics. That is pragmatic decision making with the push and pull of that particular state at that point of time, for political compulsions, which we can't be ideal at that point of time, saying that no, it is something like this. But ethically, we are very clear about the principal part of fighting the election. On your second question of Shashi Tharoor, whom I work with and I report to in my professional Congress department, I have great respect for him. And he has done campaigns wherever he was assigned to, in Noida, in UP, as well as in Goa, in few constituencies, but not in other constituencies. Wherever he was assigned to, he has gone. Kapil Sibal is an incomparable lawyer, a very learned man, very experienced man. I have deep pain in him seeing putting up his articulations in public. Whereas, we all have our concerns which we have put across in our internal forums. Just like you run an organization, we run an organization. So, we have internal forums where we have the authority, where we have the freedom to express our mind, upwards and downwards, both. In terms of our critical aspects of the things which we need to see improvement in the party. So I find it a little bit painful to see Sybil sir coming up in the public in terms of putting up this argument that they should change. But Sybil sir also has contributed to the election campaigns as and when he could, not in this one, but in the previous elections. But what is really the concern which we need to address is Congress in the India's 17 Lok Sabha elections, winning 10 out of them, with 7 with full majority and 3 in alliances, and ruling India for 54 years. There is a little bit of this governance culture which is there within the system. The governance culture is we wait for things to happen. Uh, rather than we make things happen. And then 2014 was a shocker for us, because we never expected BJP to come up like this. And it took us some time to realize that or we might have thought to a large extent that it's only one term, we might come back to power, and it's only but we have seen a repeat happening. And by the time one term has already passed by, and we need to reflect the changes. And Sujit, as per the organization's election procedures, anybody can contest to the Congress president position where the
Correct.
nominations are open. And there is, if I want to, I can. Tomorrow somebody else want to, they can. Nobody is forcing them to. And when it's an election, there will be campaigns. It will be healthy campaigns. And it is important that the election happens, because that is something which has not happened. And once that happens, we should see a lot of things happening. Now, the second thing is, I run a small unit, a department of the Congress party under AIPC in Maharashtra. I also sit in the AICC social media department as a national executive committee member. So running an organization with diverse views is not easy. When we celebrate a BJP or when we celebrate an AAP, it is easy to run that organization right now, because they have power and people will listen to that one, and it can be oppressive. Given a free choice of liberal expression, there can be a lot of discontent against Narendra Modi and Amit Shah, which is coming up, within the BJP also. But they don't have a platform to express it that liberally, like the way in which we can express it liberally, like within the Congress party, whether you like it or not. In Congress party, you have always seen this is not the first time you see a Congress leader coming out in the public and opening up and making a statement against the leadership. And Congress party has great amount of tolerance, and we have not taken the disciplinary action till the time it has reached a limit which is beyond tolerable or allowed limits, which will start affecting the organization in a very yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Shashi? Matthew, what did Sanjay Jha do that you sacked him? What was intolerable?
Sanjay was my boss in AIPC.
What was the intolerable thing that he did that you guys sacked him?
Sanjay has not been sacked. Let me also clarify. He is only under suspension. He's not sacked.
Come
he is sacked. Yeah, he is.
Matthew, come on.
He is taken out from the. He was taken out from the official spokesperson responsibility.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, fair enough. I can Aarti with one more question, with your permission. One more point can I make, Aarti, with your permission?
Yes.
Just one more point. I see Rahul Gandhi is a good person. There is no debate. I am never debating all that. He's a very nice person. I have absolutely no doubt about it. Okay, somewhere down the line, Matthew, I think what we need to remember is it is not about good person or bad person. It is about a winner or a loser. So that's number one. Number two is, you said, you made a statement that, as and when he could, Kapil Sibal went and campaigned. Matthew, as and when he could, it was a semi-finals, 5-state campaign. As and when he could. Did he become a minister? As and when he could. Did he attend the law ministry? As and when he could. Did he go to the minister's office? As and when he could. So when he was minister, he was very much there. He used all the privileges that a minister should get. But when it came to campaigning, it is as and when it could. See, Matthew, I am not going against a word of what is happening. I am saying, yes, of course, a party, and especially a party like Congress, should have dissent, should have people speaking against the leadership, should have open discussions on leadership. I have nothing against the G23. My point is, somewhere down the line, this entire thing about there should be voting, there should be consensus, all this is sham, is what I think. What normally happens is a leader is dethroned. A leader is never said, "Abhi thoda der tum side mein baitho na, main abhi thoda der baithta hu." This concept does not exist. I will tell you why. The next person who is going to sit in that chair will be seen as somebody that the Gandhis wanted to sit. Okay, Sitaram Kesari, when he became the president of Congress, the way he was ousted, everybody knows he was locked in a bathroom. Matthew, we all know about it. See, the point that I'm trying to make is somewhere down the line, I am hoping that Matthew, you yourself, you said you're an organizational head. You said you can be the president of Congress. Of course, you can be the president of Congress. So be na. I am saying stand up in Worli and start saying I want to be the president of Congress. All that I'm asking you is Congress should be a party of people and not party of Gandhis. I am again. I'm saying, Matthew, don't get me wrong. I have no love loss for. In fact, I have a lot of regards for the Gandhis. I think they're nice people. I don't have anything against the Gandhis. My only submission is somewhere down the line, I need a good opposition in this country, and that's what I'm not getting. I'm not getting a good opposition, and a little politics that I know, I am very clear that till such time that Congress doesn't revitalize, there will not be an opposition. A TMC cannot be an opposition to Bharatiya Janata Party. AAP cannot be an opposition to even Shiva Sena. Forget about Bharatiya Janata Party. Okay. You need a Congress to form a good opposition. A Congress with a TMC, a Congress with a Shiva Sena, a Congress with a DMK, a Congress with a they can be a good opposition. And I am asking Congress, get up and do your work. Be a good opposition. That's all what we are saying, Matthew here. Sorry, Aarti. That's all I had to say.
Yes, I think the problem here is, and I think a lot of people who watch Congress Party, who look at Congress Party as a credible opposition, as somebody who stands up to the ruling party, ruling dispensation, they believe that G23 on one hand is saying that we don't want Gandhi leadership. In fact, when in the CWC meeting, Sonia Gandhi said that all the three Gandhis, Sonia Gandhi herself, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi, they three will resign from their positions, and anybody who wants can take over the positions, and they can run the party as they want. But then CWC meeting, in which there are some of the members of G23 are also present in the meeting, they collectively have a statement, and in that statement they say that they repose the faith in the Gandhis. Then they come out and then they say that no, we don't want Gandhi leadership, we want somebody else. So this double standard is what people are seeing here. So if you don't want Gandhis as a leader of the Congress party, then why not bell the cat?
See, I really don't know what to say here for the G23 because all of us are Congress people. I don't see anybody as a different person. I said that Kapil Sibal, a senior leader who has all the escalation platforms available. See, when compared to Sibal, who's a very junior in the party, has got all the platforms available for me to escalate within the party. I need not have to come out in a media platform and to express myself, that my party leaders should listen to me. We have had our part of concerns which has been shared internally very clearly, and it has been expressed without any kind of a filtering. But that is our internal platforms. When somebody, and CWC was a platform for everybody to express their mind, and in that meeting we have come out with a statement, and there is no there are sources of media which is always often quoted, and there are other sources which is always quoted and says that there were intended resignations, and there were questions to be asked, and there was something which is to be coming out. So from our perspective, we should, and if for us as a party to continue, it is a challenging time, no denial about it, that's the truth, because when you face consistent electoral losses, it is challenging. It questions a lot of things internally. At the same time, we have our internal platforms very clearly available for us to open up and discuss things within ourselves. Now, coming to Sujit's question of the Congress coming up and facing up an opposition and this one. Can I recall the way in which, about the Congress president? We have 61 Congress presidents in the whole time from the independence till now, in all these years. And it's not that, it's completely within the Gandhi family, which is there. And, it is just, because it's a story which is, and you should also consider the heavy investment which is done by the BJP and other people to significantly have a perception on Rahul Gandhi as a man with poor intellect. That is a branding investment which was done by the BJP. Why isn't the media not calling out that one?
Why
Are
isn't
not.
Matthew? Sorry. Now I'm debating here. Sorry for that.
Yes,
I'm just
we can.
interjecting. I'm so sorry.
We
Why
can.
isn't the Congress doing something about it? You are telling me Congress is pauper? Congress doesn't have money? Congress is part of the government, which is possibly the richest state in the country, one of the richest cities in the world. You are the government here. You think Congress doesn't have money? Why doesn't Congress appoint a branding person? Why don't they get to get back their leadership? What stops them?
Sujit, with all due respect, sir, you know the kind of money which BJP is making out of this of their administration.
But then, Matthew, are we saying that therefore we will never be able to, that way you are not going to compete,
No,
you're just going to leave it that way?
it is not. It is not that. No, so then when, let me recall the name which we all often recall in our conversations, or to inspire each other. We often take the name of Mahatma Gandhi. When the guns were doing the conversations, a man walked half naked. Everybody laughed at him, saying that no, you will never find yourself. And what are you talking about? Non-violence, when our bullets can fire you down. We are driven by his inspiration, and we will never lose this battle. We might lose it temporarily, but we will not lose the battle for sure.
Matthew, you've been losing for the last 7 years. Now the point that I'm trying to make is,
the point that I'm trying to, as a two-member party from 1984.
Correct.
It came into full power only in 1999.
Absolutely correct, and it is growing. Now you are degrowing. The fact remains that, Matthew, let me ask you a question. Okay, and I with all due respects, please don't get me wrong. I am not asking you.
You don't have to apologize, because this is a free-flowing conversation. I will not speak anything against the party here, because
I'm not going to ask you any question.
Yeah, I will try to be as honest as possible in my replies to you.
And believe me, I will not ask you any questions to embarrass you, or to put all that jazz we don't do here. You know that. So my questions are very honest questions to you. My question is, do you think that you need a change in leadership?
A change in leadership, I will define a change in leadership as a team comprising of a mixture of senior veteran expertise with mixed leadership talent in the middle level, and a very aggressive young talent in the battlefield level. That is what is going to give us the electoral wins. So it is just Congress party is not a one-person driven party. If you really look at it, Congress was always, how many, in terms of this BJP governments across the states. As a journalist, I'm asking you this question. If not the second term, in the first term, apart from the 1 and the 2, how many ministers you were able to recall in the first instance?
When compared I'm saying not even one. Not even one. I'm saying the kind of ministry that Congress had was possibly one of the best. The best ministry, the dream ministry that India had was when Mr. P.V. Narasimha Rao was the prime minister. They had a dream ministry. Being Manmohan Singh a product of that, Chidambaram a product of that, few of the best, Jairam Ramesh a product of that. You had few of the best ministers, and you had a very good bunch of ministers even during 2004 during Dr. Manmohan Singh regime. Dr. Manmohan Singh himself, I believe, was a good prime minister. I completely hand all that to you. I am not even debating on all that. My question to you is, once again, Matthew, do you think that you need a change in the leadership? I am not talking about a group of people. I am talking about, do you think Sonia Gandhi should go and somebody else should come in? Do you think as a party leader?
I don't think so.
Okay.
At this point of time, at this point of time, because the organization election is announced and her term is till August, when the election is going to be completed, I don't see any reason for her to leave her job at an interim.
After August, do you think she should leave her job?
After August, there will be a new president as per the elections.
If so, therefore, are you looking forward for a new president?
Of course, yes. Of course, yes.
Okay, so you think you need a change in the leadership, correct? If can I conclude that?
Because
not
Madam
not
Sonia Gandhi.
disrespecting Sonia Gandhi. You genuinely think that you need a new leadership now. Would you agree to me?
No, I would rather say we have decided for a new leadership, and since we couldn't find a new leadership at that point of time when former Congress President Rahul Gandhi resigned, Madam Sonia Gandhi was graceful enough to accept the responsibility as an interim one, and
I
she will move from that responsibility on completing the new president coming into that job, and that's where
I
it
am
is.
so happy you said that. I am so happy you said that. You've been honest. You couldn't
Yeah.
get another leader, okay, to replace Rahul Gandhi. So
Yeah.
Mrs. Sonia Gandhi had to take the chair. Chances
Yes.
are, after August, you will not get another leader to replace Mrs. Gandhi, and Rahul Gandhi will take the chair. Chances are. I am not saying, therefore, that is my prediction or something. Chances are it could happen. Correct?
I would say that no, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, if he had to
Chances
take
are.
over that chair, then he
Yeah.
could have taken over that chair without the elections. We don't know
No, no,
whether
no,
he's
no.
contesting the elections or not right now because the nomination process has to be completed, and we'll get to know in April that
I
who are the people who are
I
contesting for the Congress
personally
president job.
know when he went to Wayanad, he didn't want to take up Congress. I personally know that. So I'm with you. I am not
Yes,
saying he's hungry for power. He didn't want to take up the power. It is Congress people who got him back. He dropped everything and went to Wayanad. I am not disputing it for a minute. I am saying, is there a chance that Congress president will resign when Congress president steps down? Will Rahul Gandhi, because of lack of other leadership, come back to this chair? Is there a chance? Not because he's going to take the chair away and all that. Because of lack of other choice, is there a chance?
I don't know about it at this point of time to
But
comment
there
on
is a
that.
chance. There is a chance, Matthew. I am coming to a
There
point.
can
I'm
be a
just trying to
chance.
make a point.
There
There
can be a
can be a
chance.
chance. My humble request to you is my submission to you is, why isn't Congress and why isn't young leaders like you, people who are good congressmen, why aren't you wanting to be the president of Congress? Why are people not wanting, fighting on the streets, being there, campaigning, going all over the place to say that I want to be the president of Congress? Why is it not happening? Why do you have such a huge leadership deficit?
Sujit, I need 2 minutes uninterrupted for this
You
to answer.
absolutely,
Okay. Yeah.
absolutely. Please take it.
Uh,
Please take it.
Congress has never got a dearth of talent. It is because of the diversity of the rich talent, that's many a times, we don't find the best of the minds to agree upon one to lead them. Okay, so Congress has never got a dearth of talent. Now, the second thing is people like me, I'm 44 right now. I think I should spend many people like me on your question of why don't we look at of becoming the president. We have a long way to go. We have to serve the people at the state level, at the district level, and that's how the Congress party's strength will grow, because we just don't need a leader at the top without having good leaders at the level to the last. We need a lot of leaders like us at all levels within the party, and amongst us somebody will come up at the best available time. It's not that, see, I have not been denied. I have started working with the Congress party at the age of 13 in the student congress, in the KSU in Kerala. And then after that, I started recently back again into the front line in 2017. I've been recognized by the party in a very good manner in the last 5 years. And I've had a good growth within the party also. I'm happy with it. And we need a lot of people like me within the system to serve at the state and the district levels. Then only we will have a strengthening organization, because people will approach us with their problems and we solve their problems. And that is how Congress will get back into the mind of the people. Remember, the old Congress was known to the people, just like how other parties people are doing right now. They go to the leaders with their problems and they get it resolved. Now that is not happening with the Congress, and that is why you see the Congress party at the local level not having that strength. We need to strengthen that too in order to win the electoral battles. That is the appetite for hunger which we need to demonstrate at our local levels, where we need to show that, and we need to serve the people. Now the last thing, which is, see, whatever happens, irrespective of the electoral wins of the BJP, how much ever they win, how much ever an AAP win, I don't find myself aligned ideologically with any of them. I will leave as a congressman, I will die as a congressman. And I will sometimes, sometimes a battle might take a long time to see the victory, but we have to fight because the fight is for the people of this country. I'm not fighting this battle for me. Similarly, millions of Congress volunteers here in this country, at least I'm thankful to the Congress party because I'm at least given some responsibilities. There are so many people who are not even recognized or identified or not even got any post in the party who has volunteered and given up their full-time life for the Congress party. We remain thankful to all of them who still believe in this party, who's giving everything to them. And the party will come up because more and more we show this determination, courage, and truth to kind of serve them. It is only a matter of time. It is a testing time, so the stocks are valued a bit low right now, but I think, and I'm very sure that we will come back.
Aarti, I am so sorry. I have taken away your anchorship. I'm so sorry. This is why I tell you, do not involve me in a conversation. I'm so sorry.
No, that's fine. But there's one point that Matthew said, and I have to agree with this. That what he said was during COVID-19, the Congress party was visible on the ground. Lots of Congress party leaders, they were helping people to find oxygen cylinders. They were helping people to find ICU beds. And in the time of crisis, even when the migrant workers were walking all the way back to their hometowns in Uttar Pradesh, right from Kerala and Maharashtra. So the Congress party also arranged, the Congress workers arranged buses and all those things for them. So whenever there was a crisis, Congress party was there. But the only issue is they were not able to capitalize it when there was election. And also, there's one fact that people say that the Congress party is not hardworking enough. It is not working hard enough. But if you look at the number of rallies that Priyanka Gandhi did in Uttar Pradesh, 200 rallies she addressed in Uttar Pradesh. Then the factor is, if Congress is working hard, if the leadership is working hard, then where exactly that nexus, that formula is not coming through, because the Congress leadership is working hard, the Congress cadre is working hard, then what exactly is missing in this formula?
Can I know this question is for Matthew, but I am like, you ask questions like this, I have to answer. I have to make a point. You see, Congress has worked during COVID. Matthew has worked during COVID. We are all aware of that. We are from Bombay, we've seen him work. Fair enough. But the fact is, that's good when it comes to an NGO. If Matthew was heading an NGO, that's a fabulous work he has done. And he's done selflessly. I've seen that. Okay, we have all seen that. But did it translate into what? It didn't. I'm not talking about Matthew and his work. I'm talking about, I'm sure a lot of other people also did work in Uttar Pradesh. A lot of other people did work in Punjab. Did it translate into what? It didn't. You know why it didn't translate into what? Because there was a Sidhu and a Chennai problem. There was a Sidhu who was made the president of Punjab. He destroyed Punjab single-handedly. So all the workers who put, people like Matthew, who worked during the COVID, who put their families aside and went down working for COVID, all their efforts were just washed out. So that's the first thing. Congress has to understand it is not an NGO. It is a political party. Political party wins elections. NGO does good work. So if you are only going to do good work, stop being a political party, be an NGO. If you are a political party, start winning election, and with the election, with the power, do good work. That is number one. Number two, let me tell you my last point. Okay, the thing that I'm saying is, I have never been of the opinion that the Gandhis were not hardworking. I am always of the opinion that the Gandhis were hardworking. They tried their best. Nahi hua yaar. It couldn't happen. Okay, they may not have the charisma. They may not. They tried. You think Rahul Gandhi didn't try? Of course he tried. Priyanka Gandhi didn't try? Of course she tried. I will tell you, Priyanka Gandhi has come through as a very, very recognizable and a potent leader in Uttar Pradesh. She's come through as that. Ladki who lad sakti hu is a fantastic election proposition. There is no debate on that. And the way she delivered that proposition in Uttar Pradesh was fabulous. Now, it translated into what or not, there are lots of other reasons that it didn't happen. If you go for an analysis, we'll do that a separate day. But that being said, she put her entire effort, 100 marks to her. 100 marks to her. Jeeta hara, it's a different issue. But that being said, I want to ask the same question again. Where was Kapil Sibal? Where was Shashi Tharoor? Where was this gentleman Prithviraj Chauhan? Where are all these people? Where was the Ghulam Nabi Azad? Where are all these people? You don't fight. Ghulam Nabi Azad is from Kashmir. Is there an identity to Congress in Kashmir? No. Why it went? He wants to have a leadership change. His own state he couldn't protect. He wants leadership change. Kapil Sibal, where was he from? Delhi. Is Congress irrelevant in Delhi? No. Kapil Sibal wants leadership change. He couldn't guard his own state. He wants leadership change. My, for crying out loud, my problem is, listen, we there is a the Congress should understand they have a leadership deficit, and that's the point is of the debate today. And that deficit has to be cleaned. That deficit has to be brought about. There has to be a change. Sorry, Matthew. Go ahead.
Okay.
I took a lot of time.
Now I think it's the concluding one, no? Or will there be more? Arti?
No,
Yeah,
you please.
it's the concluding one. Yes, we are just very close to the closing time. Yes.
Okay. So Sujit, let me tell you again that Congress has got surplus talents. But the only thing is the talents, the utilization of the talents, productive utilization of these talents is critical for us right now. And there are two sides of the arguments within the party. Let the party decide on that one. I don't want to make a public statement on that particular matter at this point of time. But what is really required for all the Congress people, in terms of what you mentioned as the social NGO and the political party, Congress was all that from the freedom time, from the freedom struggle onwards. Anything, any issue for any household, somebody says, that no, I've joined Congress. It is like that no, it was a pride. It was a chip in the shoulder at that point of time. That no, my family man has joined Congress. So similarly, Congress carries that in its DNA. Service is in our DNA. What we need to do is we have started taking up, at least I can say, I, not we, taking political stance on issues also. One thing which we need to, which I can publicly comment, is also that we need to kind of take very, very clear political stance on subjects of national relevance. Very, very firm stance. And that needs political explanations, to our own internal teams within the whole system. And that is one way of strengthening the system. Second is, we should strengthen our internal organization to the booth level, where the party workers are empowered to take up people's matters and resolve things on their own at their levels. Or when it is escalated, the leaders at the escalated level should facilitate resolution of the problems of the people. And that is how you start re-engaging. If Aarti asked about the disconnect of rallies versus votes, the disconnect is where we need to engage with the electorate. And how do you engage with the electorate? See, irrespective of whether you are an MP in the Congress party, whether you are a president of this country today or tomorrow, what happens is you have to fix a water connection issue, you have to fix a gas connection issue, you have to fix emergency quota ticket, or a hospital admission, or a school admission for one of your electorate voter, which is or whether you are an MP who has won the elections, whether you are somebody who has lost elections, it doesn't matter. When you are approached by your constituent member, you have to do that. There are no two ways about it. We somewhere have lost a little bit of a connect with that kind of an engagement with our people. If you are looking out for a general reflection on where the connectivity is missing, because see, end of the day, as Congress President Srimati Sonia Gandhi, or former Congress President Rahul Gandhi, or Srimati Priyanka Gandhi, how much ever they give directions from the top, unless and until you have a robust organization which executes their thoughts into actions which are tangible and measurable and relatable to the electorate, the electoral win will still be a distant dream for us. So that is something which we need to do. Dr. Tarur, I would disagree with Sujit on Dr. Tarur, because I always admire him for his energy, for that matter, because after his busy parliament schedule, he writes up to date on the current affairs. He finds time to meet his constituents on every weekend. He finds time to engage in his literary work and other parliamentary work, standing committee work, and all other things. He is doing a tremendous amount of job, and whatever he is doing as an MP of the party, it relates to the party. It is a contribution towards the party. He has a personal charisma. I agree to that one. At the same time, he is doing a lot. Uh, I'm not personally exposed to Sybil sir's schedule to comment, to make qualified statements on his schedule and things like that. But still, I know that he does a lot of pro bono appearance for Congress party people in the court whenever he is been approached to. So more than that, I'm not able to comment on that one. But uh, what is really required is this end to end B2C networking and engagement with the electorate is required for the Congress party, rather than the mass rallies, because rallies never converts to votes. But the B2C engagement at the local level is very critical in our aspirations to win elections. And just like you said, that whether I should aspire to be president of the Congress party, every local taluka, local block member of the Congress party should aspire to be a councillor, corporator, or a panchayat ward member in their area, and that is how that winning element will come into the party. Every election is important for us. It's not the state election. It is not the Lok Sabha election. Every election is important for us, from even the minutest of ward member seat to the highest level of the office is important for us. Even the officers association, the unions, everything is important for us to win from now, to get into this battle back again in full strength. That is the what which will support the leadership. Leadership is just not something which is a balloon like. Leadership needs deep roots also, which is what our job is to kind of build across. So that is what I firmly believe in, Sujit. So I don't believe in a tops down approach. I believe in a tops down and a bottoms up approach, or a balanced one, from both sides, which gives mutual strength and hand to hand each other. And let's also accept that we all are human beings. We are not gods. Just like Narendra Modi is being so invincible that he's above mistakes and not having the courage to admit mistakes, but to kind of running for cover every time. We have the courage to say that we lost, and we have a lot to improve, and we have the appetite to fight the battle, and we have so much of talent within ourselves. But only thing is that these talents should find a common platform to agree, to choose one amongst them as a leader, and to take instructions down at times, and to follow each other at some point of time. Those are things which we need to find adjustments and balance within ourselves, is what my point is.
Hmm. Well, that's a very honest admission, Matthew. Sujit sir, we have got only 2 minutes left. What is your concluding statement? What do you think about this?
No, I have no concluding statement. I mean, what he said is correct. That's his point of view. I have nothing to say. All I said everything that I wanted to say. I have nothing more to say, Aarti. Uh, I
Well, then
hope
that's it.
India
I
gets a good opposition.
Yes, that's the hope. The conversation that we are having right now, the point of this conversation is to understand what exactly is happening with the Congress party, because people, the audience, the voters all want one alternative to the BJP. And I think, as it was rightly said, on a national level, if you look at from a national perspective, I think Prashant Kishore said this yesterday, and that statement made logic. I found that logic very right. What he said was, for TMC and Aam Aadmi Party to challenge BJP, they have to try 10 times or 20 times what they did in 2019. Congress has to just double it. And it can do it because it has done it in the past.
One of the most inconsistent people that I've ever seen in my life is Prashant Kishore. He's one of the most inconsistent people, because he was probably the reason why the Goa, what happened in Goa. Because if he knew and if he is genuinely bothered about a strong opposition, he wouldn't have let what happened in Goa. So, well, I mean, let's least we talk about him. But thank you so much, Aarti and Matthew. Thank
Yes.
you so much for being there.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much,
Thanks,
Matthew. It
Suji.
was
Thank you,
very
Aarti.
interesting.
Thank you for this wonderful evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much.